Is there a strategy that'll help you grow your company faster? CEO Sales Strategies is an investigative business podcast for entrepreneurial people who never stop asking questions. Highly acclaimed sales revenue growth expert Doug C. Brown interviews CEOs, business owners, and professionals who serve them to uncover and share actionable tips and methods behind their bulletproof sales strategies. Topics covered on the show include their failures, struggles, secrets, and processes that help them succeed in selling millions to billions of dollars of their products and services, all with the sole aim of helping you grow your business. If you are eager to know the most effective sales secrets from the A players of the game, then the CEO Sales Strategies podcast is certainly the place to be.
Hey everyone, this is Doug C. Brown with the CEO Sales Strategies podcast, bringing you another great episode. Today's guest is Mr. Daan Donders. He's from the Netherlands. He owns a company called SoConnect. He's got a great story, an interesting story, where he built this company from zero up to 5 million in the first 2 years using partners. And he used partners in the form of what we would call resellers. And you know, I've always been a big proponent of extending our reach through independent partners, whether we use those in the form of, referrals or agencies or resellers or, whatever it might be, private label. And it's really a great option because a lot of times it is a higher profit margin than your actual direct side of sales. Of course, you need direct side most of the time too. However, pay attention, if you would, to he and I are discussing kind of the do's and don'ts of doing this, since he has much experience doing this, and I have a lot of experience doing this as well. And so I think you're going to get a lot out of this episode. Dan's a really straightforward, honest guy. And I found him to be very trustworthy and credible. So here we go. Off to our interview. Daan, welcome to the call, sir. It's a pleasure having you on here.
Yeah, likewise, Doug. Great to be here.
So, folks, those of you who don't know him, you've been in the software world and the online world for a long time. I mean, I looked through your LinkedIn profile and we've had some conversations.
True.
And you're the founder of SoConnect at this point. And SoConnect, from what I understand, provides businesses, especially local businesses, listing reviews, website optimization, reviews in general.
Yeah, you got that right. So everything that helps small businesses to be more visible online. And we have a set of products that empower them to do so. Yeah.
And is it, you're in the Netherlands, so is it European only, or is it worldwide, or?
No, it's global. But I think probably 50% of all our customers are based in the UK and Western Europe. And then we have Australia. And we just started in North America with our own office in LA. So that's going to be our US hub.
So you have a really interesting background, but the story of how you built SoConnect is part of the reason I was so grateful to have you here, because I'm constantly preaching to people, look, one of the ways of growing revenues is to extend the number of your sellers. And it doesn't mean when we extend the number of our sellers, that means we have to be paying base salaries and all of that. We can use independence. And you've done that very effectively with SoConnect. And I think you grew to 5 million within the first 2 years, just using that component of it. I'd love to delve into that as a subject matter for this call, because there's so many people out there going, really? You could do that, right? And they don't know the process or the philosophy about how to grow it correctly. So if you don't mind, I'd love to delve into that.
Sure.
So when you started out, you started out like everybody, organically, zero. And you had this idea, I want to grow this company. Where did the idea come from about growing it with independent representatives?
Yeah, good question. So I think that's because I had previous companies where we were trying to sell solutions directly to end customers, and end customers in that case also being small local businesses. And in that company, we were selling a Wi-Fi marketing solution, something completely different than what we do now. But for the business owner, they were buying a subscription service, which would help them in that case, reaching out to their own customers. And now we have products that make them more visible online. But the model worked that we were selling a SaaS solution to these businesses. And the problem with that, with selling directly to small businesses, is that probably the acquisition costs were so high to get that customer in. And we needed to have sales offices in every single country. So we had offices in Barcelona, in Spain alone. We needed to have offices in Valencia, Barcelona, Madrid, across Europe, everywhere. We needed to have these local sales teams that were going out to these businesses and tried to sign them up for our service. So it went well, but the acquisition costs were so high that at the end of the day, the customer was actually paying, in my belief, way too much for a solution because the acquisition costs were so high. And that was not the only problem. Probably a lot of people will recognize this, but selling to a local business owner is as difficult as selling to a business owner that has 50 businesses. Mm-hmm. And both the support load is the same as well sometimes. So for us, in that business model, it did no longer make sense to actually go out there with our own salespeople and sell our solutions directly. So that's why I thought in my next business, why not, get rid of that whole direct sales model and go through a partner that actually has an existing relationship with that local business already, which has an existing billing relationship with that business already. So that means my acquisition costs are way lower than they were before, that the end customer works with a supplier that they already trust, that they already have a contract with and a billing relationship with. And that, as a result, it's not only the relationship, it's also the fact that probably they pay a fifth of what they would normally pay when I needed to go directly and sell the solution to them. So that all sounds great, though, in theory, but then you actually need to execute that plan. But that was, that was sort of the main reason why we chose for a completely different strategy at SoConnect.
So it's interesting because on a direct sales model, what I heard is we have increased overhead. We had to charge more for the product that we were actually, or the service that we were putting out for our particular end user, because we had to cover this overhead. Mm-hmm. And since we had high overhead and we had pricing, our profitability wasn't as good as if I used an outside, independent sellers network, therefore getting either a direct sales from them because they're doing the work, or maybe even referrals. So I can actually give the end user a better price doing this because I don't have the overhead and my profitability is higher all the way around.
Absolutely. And not only that, also if you're a small business, you probably have a couple of suppliers that you work with today. Now, how easy is it if the agency that you already work with for your Google ads or any other stuff is now the one that is offering, in this case, our SoConnect product under their own brand, that we don't need to establish that relationship again with that local business. And that's something that's really challenging for any company selling into that market.
Yep. Yeah, because you already have built-in trust. I mean, it might be somebody who's been working with that other company for 10 years. And, exactly. They're their guy or gal, if you will. And, but with a direct sales team, if you're calling out cold, you got to build rapport, you got to build trust, you got to build credibility. All of that stuff has to happen, and that takes over time. But with working with an independent partner already has all of that because they've spent all those years in blood, sweat, tear, whatever, and money to acquire that relationship. It's instantaneous. And so you're really increasing the speed to sale as well.
Yeah, we do. We do. There are some negatives about this model, though. The first thing being you don't have the relationship, right? That's a plus. But it also means that you're not able to call the end customer. You're not able to handle the churn that might come inevitably. But so it's, in the one way, it's easy, it's the fastest way to grow. And the other side is that it's hard to actually control it. You lose control in that sense, because the partner that is reselling your product has the control over that customer. So that only not sort of makes it impossible for you to really control and handle churn, but in some cases, it could also mean that perhaps the valuation of your company is slightly lower because you don't have the direct billing relationship with an end customer. But
right. So you're working through a reseller relationship at that point.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. So, and then we've learned that, again, right, if you're selling a product into the SMB space, which is not generating a lot of revenue. So our products tend to sell anywhere between 10 and $20 per month, which is not a lot per business. So that proposition as a standalone is never going to be profitable for any partner to sell one by one as well, because they're going to end up with the same problems, right? Although they have the relationship, although probably it's easier, but we really looked at, okay, how can we bundle our services into what the partner is actually offering to that customer today? So to give you an example, our listings products, which is a platform from where local businesses can actually add and update all their location information on 50 plus platforms such as Google Maps and Apple Maps in one go. A great product, but they pay $10-20 a month for it. And so we needed to bundle that into a broader SEO package that this partner was offering to their customers, or any other kind of package. So bundle it in means that you probably get a lot more sales, because any sale that partner is making, you're in it. And so we're trying to do that as much as possible. But we also do campaigns on a customer basis, complete customer basis of partners, where they say, okay, I got 10,000 customers today. I would like to upsell them. And then we've made a whole sort of flow whereby we can automatically give them all a free trial, every 10,000, every business of them, send them an email and say why we have launched this product, how they perform online today. And from that, they go to their own dashboard without any further sign up. They can start that trial, and the trial is a 60-day free trial we offer them, automatically enrolls into a paid subscription. So no contracts in between, nothing that you actually need to sign up to, and direct access to your own product. And these are just a couple of ways how we sell it. And especially the last one, we're really successful with that.
Folks, we're talking to Daan Donders. He owns a company. He's the founder of SoConnect. And we're talking about how to extend your reach through independent sellers, because it's a great technique. Now, there's different models on that, right? You have that reseller model like you're working on, and you have a couple of variations on that. I've run hybrid models where, telecommunications companies are famous for running this type of model, or expense reduction companies, where they actually have the agent, if you will, or they have the independent seller will sell that, but then they will have direct control and direct feedback. So the agent can step out of the customer service end of it, and they'll just receive a commission every single month. And in the case of telecommunications, it's recurring commissions, just like it would be in a software type play.
Referral sale, right? Yeah,
it's a referral sale, but they're actually the agent. So you could have referral sales, and then you could have direct agent sales that are not reseller sales, right? So there's different levels of this. And the reason I bring this up, because I can imagine that people are listening to this go, wow, geez, this sounds great. I got lower overhead. I have, the ability to play with the pricing game and give a more fair price, and I can make a higher profit. And it sounds wonderful, but it's not as hands-free or easy as some people would actually come to think it to be. At least that's what I found when I was running my companies. Right. And so I think one of the mistakes that people make, and please, I'd love your feedback on this, is they try to treat this like a direct sales team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't work out well when people do that.
Oh, well, first of all, you don't decide what the partner does, right? The partner doesn't work. The reseller, I call it partner reseller, same thing for us. So the reseller doesn't work for you. They work with you, right? You can't control them like they are your own direct sales channel. That's not going to work, just like you said. So I think the first thing you need to do, and something we've did completely wrong in the first year, is whoever wanted to sell our products, we welcomed them and we said, okay, that's great. And go out and sign up. And then we'll give you trainings. We'll give you sales trainings. We build your marketing materials and do all that. And then you go out and sell it. Well, we ended up with having hundreds of partners and a handful only selling. And the rest just signed up, sometimes even to minimum commitments, which didn't make any sense. So I think the first thing what you need to do is be very selective, because the model for us is if the partner sells and the customer pays, we get paid. If not, we don't get anything, right? So you better be, confident where you put your time and spend a lot of time on that, they will be successful. And that just all starts with trying to select the right type of partner. So first thing we look at, right? We're selling a SaaS solution. Has this partner actually sold anything on a subscription base before? If the answer is no, then we're definitely not going to work together, because that means actually that we need to educate them on how to build a SaaS company. And that's not what we want to do. Second thing is, okay, do they serve the right type of customers? Do they serve local businesses? Because that's the kind of customer that we're after. Well, if they do, good. And then the third thing is, okay, do they actually have size today? Are these just 4 or 5 guys just getting started with the company? Or do they have thousands of local businesses as customers today that are happy with that customer? What is the relationship with that partner and so forth? And by being very selective on who to work with, you increase your chances of success enormous. So that's just, we believe I think we get roughly 50, 60 new partners in every month that want to sell our product. I think we sign up 2, 3 partners a month. That's the number of partners we actually want to work with. So I think that's really important, because you feel flattered, right? So many people want to work with you. So many people want to sell your products under their own brand, but still, right? They want to resell it and they love your product. They're very enthusiastic about it. And then you need to say, no, we're not going to do it. Not even when you pay minimum commitment, because we don't believe you're going to be successful selling this product.
Well, that's called win-win selling. It's doing the right thing for them and the right thing for yourself. And what I love what you're saying is, and a lot of people don't play this game on the direct side or on the, we'll call it the indirect side, the wholesale side.
Yeah.
Right. Is you're talking about the difference between right fit client, right fit partner and ideal fit partner. Right. So there's a difference, and people don't realize this. You have 50 people coming every month, and many of them could be the right fit, but they're not the ideal client profile for you. So therefore you have to say, no, it's analogous to a football team. There's only, there's a lot of talented people who come through who can kick that ball and, and score and, defend and all that. But are they the ideal fit for the winning team? Yeah. That's a different story. And the best managers and the best organizations look, especially in sports, they want to, I'm a hockey fan. So in the United States, like the Stanley Cup's the big thing, right? If you want a Stanley Cup winning team, we have to build the team on ideal fit, not just right fit, because anybody can get on the ice and, do what they do. But can your goalie actually stop those shots coming in, right? So that's where the rubber meets the road. And in business, it's the same thing on the direct side. A lot of times people talk about right fit client, they'll look at parameters, but what they're not looking at is what's the personal and professional return on investment that actual client will get. And do they fit that mold? So I love what you're saying. If somebody wanted to just, okay, I want to try this out, I want to explore this possibility. What advice would you give them? Like, are there the top whatever steps that you would recommend or top things to look at, or what advice?
I think the first decision you need to make, right, is I see a lot of successful SaaS companies, though, that have a very successful enterprise direct sales model in place, really successful. And then they try to do partnerships, couple of guys in a partner team, right?
Right.
One guy that does resellers, another guy that does referrals, and maybe it's a team of 10 or 20 even, but compared to the size of the company, it's still small. So I don't believe in doing this, as a little extra. I don't think it's going to work, or it can't be sure. But I saw many companies fail with a reseller model because of this, because there was no focus, and because it was just such a small team that was working on it. It actually meant that, like you just said, right, they handle it like it's a direct sales team. The only difference is that they now bill it through a partner instead of bill it directly.
Right.
So I think that's first the sort of core decision you need to make. Do I have the resources, and do I want to really focus on this? The second thing I think you need to decide on is, do you care about your brand being out there? Because our platform is used by tens of thousands of businesses today, but nobody ever used a SoConnect dashboard because everything is white labeled. It could be a Telstra dashboard or an Orange Telecom dashboard or any kind of SEO company, right? So if you really want your brand to be out there, then that's sort of a decision you need to make, because that is not, if you don't, like, maybe put it this way, you have a model where you can actually sell your product under your brand, right, through the partner or reseller. But we feel that if your brand is not super strong today, that you're better off selling the solution through the partner under their brand. And so white labeled, rebranded. Yes, that would mean that nobody would ever know your brand. So that's very true. But it will also help because the partner would feel like it's their own product, like it's their own business and their own thing. And then they really try to accelerate that. So my experience is that they do put a lot more time and effort into it when they feel it's their product, it's integrated into the dashboard with the other products that they already have. So those are probably the first sort of decisions I think you need to make. And after that, it's just like we just discussed, right? Being very selective about what kind of partner you want and what kind of partner is successful. I think if 50% of your partners eventually sell, you're doing a great job. I think that's already really, really good. And the biggest issue with getting a partner to sell is prioritizing, because here's this, in this case, SoConnect company, right? That contacts a partner. The partner already has maybe 10, 20, 30 different other products that they sell for years. And now here is this new software tool and they like it, they take it into their portfolio and then they start upselling it, bundling it and whatsoever. But to get to that point, they really need to prioritize that at some stage. And that's the hardest part, because they probably have 1,000 other things they could do. Right. And getting your product to be the highest priority for them, that's actually still our biggest challenge every day with the partners we work with.
Well, and I know when I ran agencies or I built agencies or I did even had my own and then built independent partner programs, it was the same challenge that we had. And I know when I had agencies, for example, I'd have 100 contracts, but I'd only sell maybe 7 or 8 of them, right? I'd have 100 different ones, but I always went to my preferred vendor, if you will, right? In that capacity. And it really comes down to the first thing that you said that you would recommend people to do. Who and how are you going to treat these people? Because if you're going to treat these people, these independents, as direct employees and treat the program like that, the program's not going to be that successful, because these are people who have free choice, right? Yeah. That are selling. So it's how do you support them in the capacity to help them be more successful is a higher priority than even on a direct sales team. Now, on a direct sales team, that's also very important. We got to have coaching. We got to have all the things that are in there. But I really love that point that you brought up. I also, love the point that you brought up that, look, guys, this is got to be a division and funded and supported like any other division that would be taken seriously in the company. And I see that as a big mistake. A lot of times I see people doing this and they're failing at it. And that's the major reason that they're just, like you said, they have, a direct sales team of, 60 people, and they have, Joe and Eddie in the back room, and they're supposed to go out and get partners, right? Yeah. It's that type of thing. But then the partners have questions, but they don't have the budget or support for this. And that's why it fails. Or stutters to a point where they can't even move, right? It's one of those deals. So, man, this has been really great. I really appreciate you being on here. We're talking with Daan Donders of SoConnect. Dan, if people are like, you know what, man, I want to know more about what you do, what the company does, whatever, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, probably you'll share my contact details, or you share my LinkedIn. But no, I love to have discussions with other SaaS founders about this subject, right? I've learned so much from other entrepreneurs in my space as well in the past. And I would love to share my experiences and maybe learn from them as well. So yeah, we'll definitely do. And I can talk about this model for ages, but I would love to help them out, especially when they're just getting started. And perhaps also knowing for themselves if partner model is the right fit for their company, right? That's also a fair question to ask. It's not for every company. It's not for every kind of product that you can have or set up a successful reseller partner model.
Right. And it's what I have found over time is almost any company can do this, but not all companies, just like you said, can do this. And people who are listening to this, I mean, sometimes they're thinking, well, is it right for me? Is it right? Reach out to Dan and ask, or if you want, reach out to me. Either way, right? I mean, we both built partnerships in these things. And a lot of people don't realize that many, even larger companies, they have private label programs. Right? Yeah. I don't know if Zoom still has it or not, but I remember when I was looking at a SaaS offering, I was going to incorporate Zoom into what I was offering. And I didn't want the Zoom name at that point. I wanted it to be a white label solution. They were agreeable at that point, right? Yeah. Now, since they become what they are, I don't know if they'd be so agreeable anymore, but the reality is that any company can explore this option of having that and then doing it right, like you've done. And obviously you've proved it out. I mean, you went from 0 to 5 million in 2 years just on this model, and you continue to keep growing. And I love the fact that you're being selective about it. That's the other mistake I see people making all the time. They're just, I got 3,000 resellers. And it's like, how many are active?
Yeah, no, that's true, right? And I made this mistake still. While I actually had the knowledge, I still made the mistake in the beginning because you feel flattered, right? Everyone wants to sell your product, but yeah, I've learned from that. But
well, what is that? Experience is the greatest teacher, or something of that nature, right?
Yeah. So it absolutely is. But no, happy to help anyone with questions for sure.
Great. Now I'll make sure that all the notes posted here, folks. All of the links are posted for Dan. And Dan, I really appreciate you being here. This has been a great discussion. I know people have gotten a lot out of this, and I really appreciate you as a person.
Thank you so much, Doug. Likewise.
Well, guys, that was pretty cool, huh? I mean, we talked about the do's and don'ts of building a partner program. One of the big things about a partner program is you've got to seriously treat it like it is as important as your direct program, because it is a different program. And it is, even though it's highly profitable for you, you've got to have resources and budgets and things that are allocated toward that. If you don't, what will end up happening is the partner program will kind of stall a bit, right? It'll get kind of bumpy, and partners need to be supported in some cases more than direct sales reps. So when you're building a partner program for yourself, please make sure that you take it as seriously and fund it as seriously as you would a direct side. If you have any questions on that, as Dan alluded, you could reach out to him. I've built many, many agencies and helped people do that. So if you want to do something like that, by all means, reach out to me. You can, Doug at businesssuccessfactors.com. And if you like this episode, please give it a 5-star rating and let me know what you'd like to see for upcoming episodes, content and information. I'm here for you and be happy to bring you whatever I can. All right, until next time, go out, sell something, make it a great day, and be profitable to your success.